YouTube, what is going on? My name is Argon. Welcome back to some Fortnite informational, instructional, and conversational type of content. Today, we're going to go over the new double pump shotgun. I keep calling it a double pump. It's really a double barrel shotgun that shoots 2 pellets, 2 rounds right away, right after another, pretty fast, and then takes a long time to reload. They just launched this gun, guys. We're going to go into the stats on how it is, how a damage drop-off works, what kind of damage it deals, what kind of things you can expect when using this weapon, and what my opinion is on it at the very end. But before we go into that video, guys, or get any more into this video, I should say, I want to remind everybody, of course, that we are giving away V-Bucks on this channel every single month to the most active people who are active on the channel. Basically, if you want to enter, it's very simple. Just subscribe. Make sure you got your notification bell turned on. Make sure you're liking all the videos and commenting down below. It's pretty straightforward, you know, standard YouTube stuff. The more active you are, the more likely I'm going to see your name and recognize you and interact with you, and then you're more likely to win some V-Bucks. Pretty straightforward, right? Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's just as well, and Instagram. I have an Instagram. All those links are down in the description below. You can always check them out. The more the merrier. The more I recognize you, the better off you are, right? And make sure to join the Discord as well. But that aside, let's jump into this, guys. This analysis, this in-depth review of the double barrel shotgun. I got to keep reminding myself not to say double pump. It's just a habit at this point. Basically, guys, this gun released with 2 different variants. One's an epic or purple. The other is a legendary or gold. The epic will do a total of 143 base damage, and the gold will do 150 base damage. These shoot 10 pellets, so essentially on the epic variant, each pellet does 14.3 damage, and on the gold one, each pellet does 15 damage. There is a headshot or critical multiplier of 1.25. That's actually lower than all the other shotguns, by the way. The reload time on this weapon is 2.8 seconds for the epic and 2.7 seconds for the rare. The legendary. That basically comes down to 1.4 seconds and 1.35 seconds per round for the epic and legendary respectively. Now, the reason why I want to do the per round is because I'm going to compare these to the other shotguns, starting with the tacs. The common tac or the white tac does 0.788 seconds per round, uncommon is 0.75, and the rare is 0.713. So this is slower than all the tac shotguns. The uncommon pump, which is the green one, is 0.96. The rare one is 0.92 seconds per round, and so this thing's slower than that one as well. And finally, the heavy shotgun comes in at 0.84, 3 seconds for epic and 0.8 seconds per round for a legendary. So this thing is quite a bit slower than all the other shotguns. The only one that's marginally close is the pump, but basically your reload time is really slow on this, guys. And I should mention that if you did want to reload it individually, it's probably not your best idea because you don't want to do one shot at a time. You got to remember you're going to load only 2 shots every time you reload, whereas all these other ones you're reloading several rounds at once, so that helps you not have to reload as often. So not only is your reload time a lot slower, but your reload frequency is a lot higher too, which is going to be a major impact. Basically, you're always going to need to be relying on a secondary on this in case you're just godly with your shots, but we'll get into how godly you have to be here in a second. So the main draw to this weapon is that it deals a lot of damage up close, and that it does a lot of shots in a row successively really quick. And by a lot of shots, I mean the first and second shot can be happening very quickly. This is actually where it's faster than all the other shotguns. It can shoot 2 rounds off in basically a half a second. Compare that with 2/3 of a second for the tac shotgun and 1.5 seconds for the pump. Now, mind you, when the pump was in its full-on double pump phase, it was 1 second between shots. So even that was, twice as slow as what this thing can do. The heavy lands somewhere between the tac shotgun and the pump shotgun, guys. So this is by far the fastest shooting shotgun that we have. However, you can only hit those 2 shots, and then you basically can't use it because you're not going to be able to unless you're really good at hiding. But that's what you got to work with. It is the fastest shooting shotgun that we have, so damage per second is essentially the highest out of any of these shotguns. But what happens is you're penalized with the range on this, guys. When they say that the damage is high up close, they mean literally up close. Damage drop off already has occurred by the time you're 5 meters away. I have a bunch of testing that you're seeing on your screen right now. Basically, I just went 5, 10, 15, 20 meters away and tried to hit shots that I could hit, counting pellets, and I could figure out exactly how much damage I was doing. And basically at 5 meters, I'm already doing 12 damage per pellet instead of the 14.3 that I should have had. So there's already damage drop off at that range. It almost seems like with all the other weapons, we have about there's a base damage range that you could go up to a certain length and you will absolutely see no damage drop off, and then when you hit that point, you'll start dropping off right away. 5 meters tells me that either A, the damage drop off point begins within the first 5 meters, or there's actually no base damage. It just immediately starts dropping basically at 0. In fact, if you really want to see what it takes to get full max damage, Here's a screenshot of basically me hitting all my pellets at max damage. Now, the one thing I want to point out is, even though I am getting max damage on this, I actually am doing only some of my pellets are hitting for criticals and the others are hitting for non-criticals, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. It just increases the randomness to this game and to the way using this weapon. And basically in this clip, I didn't even aim. The guy ran across my screen. I got a lucky shot off on him. We're going to talk about that more in a second. But basically, this is how close you have to be to hit max damage, which is well within 5 meters. It's really, really unreliable to expect a max damage shot on this. And as soon as you start getting to about 20 meters, you're not even doing any damage at all, guys. In fact, the max range on this that I calculated is 16.25. At that range, I was finally able to start getting some hit markers, and you're only doing like 4 damage at that range. So it's really, really rough. Now, when I hit with the gold heavy at the exact same range, guys, I'm still doing 80 damage as a headshot. Compare that to 4. This shotgun is really, really outclassed really, really quickly. And in fact, let's take the comparison even further when we compare it to the heavy, because that's really its closest counterpart. They have the same levels of rarities, and they're intended to be high damage output shotguns. The double barrel behaves pretty much the opposite of what a heavy will do. The heavy does have a really tight spread, so you actually have to go for headshots. The heavy is also much slower and at damage drop off, so you can actually extend your damage range much further than you can with the double barrel, which is pretty much no drop off range. You're pretty much dropping off instantly. And even as far as 20 meters away with the heavy shotgun, guys, you can still two-shot somebody that has no shield. It's actually pretty strong at that range, even though if you can get a clean shot off, of course. This is assuming you can nail the spread. Now, that's the big draw here, guys, that the heavy, you really have to aim well because that spread is so tight. It's really easy to miss all your pellets, but if you do hit them, you're going to hit most of them, and you're going to do a lot of damage even pretty far away. Now, one thing I noticed when I check my measurements in terms of going for headshots versus body shots, when it comes to the double barrel, the range and the spread is so wide that you're actually better off to hit for the body. So this makes this shotgun like really, really up close panic shotgun, basically. When you're hitting body shots up close, you're doing more damage than when you're hitting headshots, simply because this bullet spread, the pellet spread, is so wide that you simply cannot nail all the pellets on the headshot. It's really as simple as that. So aim for the body, guys. You're always going to end up doing more damage on average than you will if you get a headshot. Just trust me on this one, and it should make it even easier to use. But all in all, the double barrel, I think, is pretty underpowered. Yeah, it can hit for damage up close, but being able to land shots that close is going to be pretty much impossible to do intentionally. You're going to have to rely on a fair bit of luck, swiping or turning quickly or flicking on somebody, and you're not really aiming at that point. You're just kind of hoping for the best, and you really can't spam it. So I think it's pretty underpowered. I think it would really help if they would extend the damage drop off range to at least 5 or 6 meters, to where you can still get full damage, at least. So if someone's ramping close to you, or you poke your head over a wall and you're close enough, you can actually shoot them. The problem with the reason why I say 5 meters, guys, is all the tiles here, the building structures, are all 5 meters in length, essentially square. So having full damage further than 5 meters means you can essentially be behind a wall away from somebody and still be able to hit them for full damage, which I like that meta when it comes to shotguns. I like being able to build a wall ramp, get on the ramp, peek over, shoot somebody, and keep repeating that method, because that's the way I think shotguns should be played. This is definitely a no building type of weapon. Just be up close, hope for the best. And I mean, I'm sure people are going to be able to get good with it, but from my experience so far, it's not really reliable up close. But that's what it comes down to, guys, is you're going to have to hopefully get lucky using this shotgun, or just avoid it at all. You could, if you're getting that close, you can spray with a tac shotgun and probably do more damage, to be honest. But I want to point out something here, guys. The fact that this weapon, if we look at the summary, you're better off shooting at the body. You have to be up close. You can't really build. You don't get damage from far away. Aiming really doesn't help you. This is really a weapon that relies on a lot of luck, and it's really unfortunate because they're adding yet another. Imagine now you're playing your game, and the opponent that you encounter has this double barrel shotgun, and he's pretty newbie, and he happens to flick just the way I flicked in this screenshot I'm showing. I get a hit on you, and I do max damage and end your game. And you're a skillful player, and you're playing, your mats and your shield and all this type of stuff. I just got lucky. That's the kind of thing that seems to keep getting added. This is yet another element of luck to this game that's really rapidly devolving of any real skill that is required to play Fortnite. Unfortunately, that's what's happening, guys. And this weapon in particular is a great example of a no skill. I'm not going to say no skill. I'm going to say very little skill, a lot of luck, and you will get kills with it, quite simply. So I will be curious to see how this fits into the meta. I'm not sure exactly whether it will or not. It might need a buff, I hope, and then it'll become a little more useful in the hands of more skilled players, especially considering it's an epic or gold variant. We'll see how it goes, guys, but that's the in-depth analysis, my opinion, my takeaway of what I think about this weapon. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Also, if you did enjoy this video, it's really important, guys, and I want to point out, you guys have been smashing it on the comments. The comment section of every single video has been just amazing. We've been hitting 70, 80, 100 comments on every video. That's absolutely great. We've got like 50% comments to views. It's fantastic. We really need to get the likes up though, so please, if you do and you are watching this at this far into it, make sure you hit that like button, guys. It would be awesome if we got 50% like to view ratio. That would be great. I know I keep doing math for you guys, but whatever. If you did enjoy this video, and I hope you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe. And if you're not following me, all my social media is down in the description below. And as always, guys, my name is Argon, and may you never die to a bush. Peace.